We have new information tonight about a story we've been following now for years. The King 5 investigators have received new documents that reveal stunning details about recruiter misconduct in the Washington National Guard.
King 5's Chris Engels reports the documents also raise questions about whether Guard commanders did enough once they caught some soldiers red-handed.
In 2006, the U.S. military was straining to gear up for the surge in Iraq, a war with no end in sight. In November of that year, re-enlistment papers were submitted for Washington National Guard soldier Mike Patrick. Problem was, the signatures on the forms weren't his.
So this is the public records request we made about a year ago in your case.
We showed Patrick 127 pages we just received under the Freedom of Information Act. Never before seen details about the investigation launched when he complained to superiors.
Sounds crazy. It sounds like something on a movie.
Sergeant Wendy H. Schaefer is the signed recruiter on Patrick's re-enlistment documents. In a written statement to military investigators, she says, "I became very burned out recruiting. I was very depressed, and most of my work was done by others I paid to do it for me." Schaefer admitted to paying soldiers and civilians from her own pocket for each lead and promising Guard-funded bonuses of up to $1,000 for each enlistment.
It's hard to believe that this would be allowed to go on and not somebody wouldn't have caught this.
The Guard quickly recognized that signatures and initials on Patrick's contract did not square, and it determined that another soldier who served with Patrick was paid a $1,000 bonus for Patrick's supposed re-enlistment.
I knew him, didn't know him well.
Investigators determined Schaefer created an environment that may have caused some of these paid assistants to fabricate documents in order to get money.
Wendy, who signed Mike Patrick's signature to that paper? Do you know?
Schaefer would not open the door and talk to us at her Kent apartment. She's left the Guard, and in an email told us they never took any disciplinary action against me. The soldier who got the bonus was also free to move along. According to his Facebook page, he now has a good gig with a military contractor in Iraq. He wouldn't comment for this story. We're not naming him because there's no record he was ever charged.
It appears to me that nothing really was done.
Mike Patrick did suffer with an unfavorable discharge rating that held up a security clearance at a civilian job a couple of years later. The Guard apologized and upgraded him to a fully honorable discharge a day after King 5 told his story in 2008.
There's still one thing all these documents don't explain: how anyone would think they could get away with signing over another soldier's life. Around the same time as Patrick's case, there was another recruiter controversy brewing, one that wouldn't be uncovered right away.
I re-enlisted for a year, or at least that's what I thought I had re-enlisted for.
Former Sergeant Keith Jackson says at the end of that year, the Guard showed him this 2-year contract, which recruiters swore they witnessed him sign.
I didn't sign it. This isn't my signature.
Just released documents show the recruiters, who had no connection to Patrick's case, claim Jackson was trying to get out of his second deployment to Iraq, first by requesting a transfer, then through his forgery claim.
I really don't know what to say to that. I mean, the evidence says otherwise.
And perhaps Jackson's most powerful evidence is the re-enlistment document itself, which says Jackson was sworn in Issaquah on a date his travel records show he was overseas for his full-time job as a military contractor.
We couldn't have been in the same room together. I was in Iraq, he was here.
In the document, the recruiters certify, "I have witnessed the signature, Jackson's." But how could that be if the signing happened over a cell phone, as the recruiters claim in their just-released statements? While the Guard denies the forgery, it granted Jackson an honorable discharge soon after King 5 told his story.
These days, the former Army Sergeant's fight is here at the federal courthouse. A judge dismissed a lawsuit Jackson filed against the two recruiters, but last week, Jackson's attorney appealed. In Seattle, Chris Engels, King 5 News.
A spokesman for the Washington National Guard declined to appear on camera for this story. He disputes that the Guard was too soft on the soldiers implicated in Patrick's case, although he won't say if they were dishonorably discharged. He says the Guard stands by its recruiters in Jackson's case.